In a moment, you'll see a little notification pop up saying that we're recording the session. It's because we use it to live stream over to YouTube. And so you guys can access these sessions whenever you like, even when the session isn't live. And so there it is. All right, perfect. But the point is that it's only my webcam that's being recorded. So if you are on webcam and it's lovely to see your faces, then don't worry, you are not being recorded. God, how did I want to start this session? It's disappeared from my mind. Doesn't matter. We'll carry on. Well, actually, a question for you. Who's never been to a mindfulness session before? Anyone? Hands up. Blue hands if you haven't got your webcam on. Okay, cool. Nice. Welcome everybody who's new. Hello again to everybody who's been. If you have been before and you enjoy it and think it's valuable, yeah, I'd encourage you to tell a friend or two about it. This community is growing. It's really great. Everyone keeps coming back, but I always think it would be nice. I was reminded of it today. I had a meeting with someone in a university, and I told them what I do here, and they said, "Wow, send me the link. Yeah, our students would love it." And I thought, oh yeah, I should promote this a little bit more amongst you guys to say, yeah, bring some friends if you think someone might enjoy it. So my question for you is anyone feeling a little bit tired, a little bit burnt out, a little bit kind of lazy, lacking a bit of enthusiasm? Is that anyone? I can see a thumbs up. Anyone, like hands up if that kind of describes you kind of right now or today or maybe this week? Yeah, lots of hands up. Any blue hands? Let me check the blue hands. Blue hands, lots of blue hands. Right. Okay. Awesome. Well, not awesome, but we're going to try and learn something today. A short meditation practice that's called a 3-step breathing space. That is what I think each of us can use when we just have a couple of moments in between things that we're doing, or sometimes we might need to create that time to really to find it. Sometimes if we're trying to fit more into our day, even if it is only 3 minutes, usually a lot of our time is already used up. So we have to do 3 minutes less of something else to do 3 minutes of something else. So it always does help setting an intention to do this practice. But it's so short and it's something you can guide yourself through that I find as really helpful. It's something that I do, which allows me to relax and reset. So even if I'm feeling, quite tired, quite overworked, it's something that I can do within 3 minutes. I can just notice what's going on. And this is essentially what we're doing a lot of time in mindfulness. If we're feeling, in this case, a little bit overwhelmed, a little bit overworked, the mindful response is to pay attention to our inner experience and just to notice what's really going on. And what we can do is use that current experience, that current emotion or that thought pattern that we're struggling with at the time, and make that the object of our attention. We can bring some curiosity to it. And often we find that when we bring a sense of interest and curiosity to our experience, no matter what it is, we can kind of hold it in a slightly different way, maybe a little bit lighter. We can get some perspective on it. It's almost like stepping back from it. It's like there's a storm going on and we're in it. And by just pausing and noticing and saying, hey, okay, what's going on here? We can kind of take that step back, and then we're not quite so consumed by it. And so we can notice, where do we feel this in our bodies? Or is it centered right now in our minds? Are there some judgmental or critical thoughts or worried thoughts around the amount of things that we need to do or our abilities to achieve what we've set out to achieve? Or is it something in the body? Is it really kind of like a tiredness? Is it a real sense of lacking motivation? Just identifying and opening that experience up a little bit can be really helpful. And that's something that this practice does. So we're not trying to overanalyze what our experience is. We're not trying to get really heady and start to figure everything out and kind of feed into the process. But we are just noticing what's happening. And this can be really interesting because when we do this, we can notice, is this a sign that what I need right now is some rest? I'm tired, I'm overworked. Right now, what I need is some rest. I need to go take a nap, or I need to do something that's relaxing. Or maybe we notice when we do this practice, actually, there's something else going on. Actually, it's not quite tiredness. That's kind of a secondary thing. There's actually a reluctance to engage with, say, our studies, because actually there's a little bit of fear in there. There's a little bit of anxiety about, well, about our studies, about what it all means, about what we are attempting to achieve. Are we trying to avoid something, a challenging experience? And by tuning into our experience and just noting that and being with it for a moment can really help us. So we're going to practice this together. I'll guide you through it. And then maybe after that, you can let me know how you found it, what your experience was. And if we have time, we're going to do it again. Slightly different guidance, but more or less the same, but there's going to be a tweak to it. So it's called the 3-step breathing space. So that means there are 3 stages to it. But I'm going to guide you through it first, and then we can do some explanations. So as I always say with these sessions, if there's anything in front of you that's a little bit distracting, just experiment for the next 5 minutes during this practice of just turning off the phone, closing down social media, whatever it might be. Just coming to this as a fresh opportunity to check in with yourself. And then finding a way of sitting that's going to feel comfortable. Allowing the eyes to close if that's okay. And so we deliberately make an adjustment to our posture. So we're really embodying that intention to be present and aware of how things are in this moment. And the closing of the eyes is a signal of that as well, a sense of turning our attention inwardly. And so in step 1, about becoming aware and recognizing our experience in this moment, just noticing what's going on right now. Firstly, what thoughts are present? Rather than identifying with the thought or thinking the thought is a fact, seeing if it's possible to just notice any mental chatter right now. And it doesn't matter what you find, and there's no need to hold on to any thought that you find. Just being curious. And just acknowledging that thoughts arise and linger and pass along a little bit like clouds in the sky. They're just a part of our experience that we can be aware of. And then acknowledging any emotions that you're feeling. You can just silently ask yourself, how am I feeling? And if there's any sense of discomfort or unpleasant feeling, just acknowledging that. No need to try to change the experience, just noticing. And then moving on to become aware of sensations in your body. And as best you can, just being open to whatever you find. Just how does your body feel right now? Maybe there's some tightness. Maybe there's some pressure of the feet against the floor. Whatever it may be. And then we come into stage 2, where we gather and focus our attention and tune into the felt sensations of breathing down in the belly. So with interest, with precision, tuning in to the sensations of the belly expanding on the in-breath and falling back on the out-breath. And following the breath all the way in and then all the way out for its full duration. Maybe choosing to place a hand or two on the belly to notice that movement a little bit more clearly. And then in step 3, the final step, expanding your attention, expanding the field of awareness around the breath to include sensations throughout the body as a whole. A sense of your posture, sense of your facial expression, of how your whole body feels. And if you notice any sensations of discomfort or tension, resistance, perhaps gently breathing into them and breathing out from them. A sense of opening to the sensations on the in-breath and softening around the sensations on the out-breath. And then as we come out of this meditation, allowing the awareness to expand further outside of the body, noticing any sounds. Coming to open up the eyes and taking in the visual field around you and just taking that in. As we come back to the group and again, just noticing how we are in this moment. And so this was just a short 5-minute practice. It can be done a little bit more quickly. It can be done a little bit more slowly, but essentially it's just a check-in. I'd be really interested, and as you write this, I'll talk a little bit more about the practice, but the chat box is open. I'd really be interested if you found my name and sent me a private message. If you want to include your name and where in the world that you are, and I can read some of these out, and just let me know, what did you experience during this practice? We started off in stage 1, just checking in. What thoughts are running through my mind right now? How am I feeling in the body? Emotionally, what's present right now? So this is quite a wide initial focus of our awareness. You imagine like an hourglass figure that goes like this. So it's wide in step 1. In step 2, we narrow our focus of attention down into the belly with the breathing. So we focus our attention on a gently moving part of the body that allows the mind to settle and become a little bit stiller. And then in step 3, we open up the awareness again, back into the body, noticing any present tension, and listening to sounds, opening up the eyes, and beginning that transition back into the next thing that we're doing in the day. So let's have a little look. If anyone wants to send me a little message of, what did you notice? What thoughts were present? What emotions arose? How did it feel in the body? Or what did you notice when you brought your mind into the breath in the belly? Did anything surprise you about what you found? Did it feel easy? Did it feel challenging? And do you feel any different now to how you did when you began? Feel free to answer any or all of these questions. Okay, I'm starting to get a few through here, so let's take a little look. So we have Marina from Argentina. She says, letting my discomfort escape from my body with my breathing was great. I feel a little bit better. Interesting noticing there, Marina. I really like how you noticed initially there was some discomfort. And then that was present in the body, and through moving into the second stage and the breathing, this is it, we find an alternative. Sorry guys, my Wi-Fi. Good news for all of you who are used to my Wi-Fi lagging. I'm getting new Wi-Fi in about a month. It's great news. Everybody's happy. Let's see if that makes a difference. So I was just saying to Marina there, just the sense of noticing there's discomfort in the body and then bringing our minds to another place where we can anchor it and allow that experience to settle. And for her, it helped feel a little bit better. So we have, I don't have the name, but they say, I was trying to focus, but I'm hungry since it's almost 3 a.m. here. But so glad to be here again. Well, thank you for your feedback. And even that is a really interesting noticing. I wonder if you knew that you were hungry before. And we can even start to realize and remember maybe the link that we have between eating and our ability to focus. So we struggle to focus because there's hunger present. So maybe it's just a reminder to say, oh yeah, I'm hungry. And I know when I'm hungry, I struggle to focus. Hey, I know what I should do. I should go have some food. And that will help me focus a little bit more. You know, it doesn't have to be complicated stuff here. It can be things that we already know, we just maybe need reminding of, and we're reminded when we just check in with ourselves. Okay, see, I hope the pronunciation on this is right. Cedar, maybe Seda? Cedar? Hi Solomon, Seda from Istanbul again. I realized today that my entire body is triggered by excitement. The movement of my blood is rather taking a journey towards somewhere I know I've never been. Thank you for this short practice. Thank you, Cedar. Thank you for your report, for your reflection. And noticing triggered by excitement, the movement of blood, that's really getting down deep into the body. Sometimes when our minds are quite still, we even notice these movements of blood and we notice the accompanying motion of excitement that comes along with it. Beautiful. Kunal says, I felt stress in my body and during the meditation, I felt like floating. Didn't physically feel anything. Beautiful, thank you. Maria, I was able to disconnect to connect with myself. I feel the tension in my body, the worries in my mind. I could feel the air in my room. It was so relaxing and at the same time, ... weird. Yeah, I think sometimes I don't say it enough. Sometimes this can feel really weird, particularly if we've never done it before. I remember the first time I ever did a meditation practice. I've said it before. I was in a Buddhist center in London, and I found it so weird. A friend invited me along, and I just didn't know what was going on. So if it feels weird, that's cool. It can feel weird sometimes. That's not a problem. Mary from Italy. This is my first mindfulness session here. And even though it was short, it made me feel much more aware of how my body felt. And I can see how this technique would really help with my anxiety. It's crazy how 5 minutes can change your perspective so much. Yeah, I guess that's something that we notice, isn't it? We don't need to spend a lot of time always. It's really good to be able to spend 10, 15, 20 minutes doing these practices. If we don't have that time or we don't enjoy doing that time, yeah, we can find shorter practices and they can help. Olivia from Indonesia, I noticed that I was having a shortness of breath because of anxiety. My heart was pounding faster and faster. Yeah, so absolutely. So sometimes when we tune into our experience, sometimes instead of being able to get some perspective and taking a step back, we end up taking a little step in and we start to get a little bit more involved in the experience. And sometimes that can be quite challenging. So as I always say, if the practice at any particular times feels a little bit too overwhelming, it feels like what's needed is a little break from the practice, then please always know that you can make that choice. You can always choose to take your mind elsewhere, focus it in a part of the body that feels a little bit more grounding and stable, or alternatively, maybe open up your eyes, maybe go and move on to something else that you know is going to feel more nourishing. So thank you for the honesty and letting us know, and I hope you're all right. Rainier from Ukraine, thank you. I feel more relaxed now. My problem is the overthinking. It distracts me a lot. Yeah, you and me and probably everybody else. Yeah, the overthinking, distracting her. Oh, thank you. So this in Turkish, you pronounce a C like a J. Ah, it says Jada. Jada is how you pronounce the name. Thank you. All right. Zai says, I know my mind is all over the place, but now where I know where it exactly went, so I know how to bring it back, if that makes sense. It does perfectly, and I love how you notice that. Once you notice where something is, you're able to bring it back. Perfect. Angelica from Philippines, I realized how important it is to take time to pace ourselves in this fast-paced world. Wishing everyone the best in all their endeavors. Let's keep fighting for our dreams. Beautiful. Thank you, Angelica. Juliet from France, I was feeling very tired, very stressed for my exam tomorrow, but just focusing on my breathing helped me to calm. She says, sorry for my English, not at all. It's perfect. It's better than my French. Rosie says, this is good for people who have anxiety disorder. Thank you. I'm slowly memorizing the steps. Yeah, absolutely. So I'll repeat this practice again quite soon, I'm sure. But as I said, these sessions are going out on YouTube now, so you just need to find the right date and you can replay it, so no worries. Let's have a look. A couple more. Someone says, I feel a bit tired, but I can't rest really. With a short breathing exercise, I could loosen up a little bit. Yeah, so maybe for you, what would work well is to go through something like this, but spend a little bit longer with the breath if that's going to feel helpful for you. Yeah, even though sometimes we feel very tired, it doesn't necessarily mean that we can be at rest. They're two different things. Sometimes mindfulness can, in time, help to unravel that tiredness into something that feels like rest. Rita says, for me, the second stage was the easiest because I can focus on just one thing. The first stage is the hardest because I can feel thoughts at the same time I feel a void. Yeah, that first stage, it really is an opportunity to notice what's going on, which really encourages us in the second stage to not see it as a rejection of whatever our present moment experience is. We're not trying to place our mind on the breath to kind of ignore the challenges we may be experiencing. We're trying to open up to them before coming into the stabilizing breath. But what this does mean, though, is sometimes that first step can be a little bit challenging as we are sitting with what the present moment experience is. It's Rosie from Canada from earlier. Thank you. I didn't have the name. Marina says, I use this practice with my students before starting the class and they feel calmer and sleepy. Awesome. And Mark says, does this practice help me fall asleep? So it might do, it might not. As we've seen from a lot of responses that we've had here, everyone's experience every time is quite different. Quite often when people practice mindfulness, it can help bring about a sense of rest and the ability to kind of recharge, but in a calm way. So if you are looking for something that is going to help to fall asleep a little bit more, then maybe it will be the case of focusing the attention on just one thing. It might be with the breath, or it might be with a calming sensation that you can find in the body, something that's going to encourage that to unwind. So yeah, I would say it can do, but ultimately the objective here isn't to fall asleep. If anything, in a way, it is to fall awake, we say. It's to notice what's taking place in our experience. But that can sometimes be something that does help us feel more tired, because often we are going around our day-to-day lives tired, but we just are so stimulated and have so many distractions, we don't take that time to come a little bit stiller. So quite often people do become a little bit tired when they do this practice. And maybe lastly, we have Mia, who says the breathing part kind of cleared my mind for a minute and made me feel better. Awesome. Guys, we have 5 minutes left. What I would like us to do is just do that practice one more time, but we're going to do it a little bit quicker. So I'm going to run through it quicker. So it can be a really good refresher, so you can remember how to do this by yourself, but also it's just an opportunity to bookend this session with the 2 practices, but we're going to run through it a little bit quicker. And maybe you'll notice a difference in how you experience it. So for those who would like to, maybe again, finding that posture that's going to feel comfortable for literally the next 3 minutes. And then closing the eyes, if that's going to feel comfortable. Letting the body settle. And then just tuning into thoughts in stage 1. And just noticing what thoughts are passing by, like clouds in the sky, mental events. And there's no need to compare this experience to the practice earlier, just noticing what's present right now for you. And then noticing any emotions that you're feeling. Whatever emotion that may be, of joy, of calmness, of tiredness, frustration. And just acknowledging them, no need to change them, just noticing. And then becoming aware of sensations in the body. And again, as best you can, just being open to them. How does it feel in the body right now? And coming into stage 2, where we gather and focus our attention now down into the belly, tuning into the felt sensation of the body breathing. Maybe choosing to place a hand there to feel that movement more clearly, allowing the air all the way down through the lungs and into the belly. Noticing the belly fill with air, and then the belly fall back again as you breathe out. And if the mind gets distracted, you just bring it back again into the belly. As we move into step 3, we expand our attention, expand the field of awareness around the breath to include sensations throughout the body as a whole. So a sense of your posture, your whole body, the facial expression, the feet, the hands, the face. And if you notice any tension or discomfort or resistance, perhaps just gently breathing into it. Sense of opening as you breathe in, and a sense of letting go and softening as you breathe out. And then allowing the attention to widen further, opening up to sounds in the room that are taking place around you. And opening up the eyes and taking in what you can see in the room and on screen. And then maybe as you do this, just setting a gentle intention to take this sense of mindful awareness into the next thing that you do today. So if you haven't yet, you can open up the eyes and just notice how it feels in this moment. And maybe have a sense of what it feels like to be sitting here with the body, an awareness of everything around you, and remembering that this can stay with us beyond this session. So as we go now into the open mic session, you guys can unmute and chat. Maybe always knowing that the body, the breath is available to you to stay present. Something to come back to when the mind starts to wander, when emotions start to take over. We always have this opportunity to check in with ourselves again each time and come back to a moment of rest, to reset and then go again. Okay, guys, that is everything from me. I'm going to head off. I hope you have wonderful, productive, and enjoyable days and nights ahead of you. Enjoy chatting to each other. As always, do it from a place of love, kindness. And we run these sessions every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at this time. So yeah, it will be me back again on Monday. Have wonderful weekends, everybody. I will see you in just a few short days.